Almost a year ago, when we were buying wood at the wood supplier shop, we saw this oak plank with a natural crack, or rather a huge split, and it looked so interesting that we wanted to make something out of it, but didn't know what at that time. A while later, after making thermal katanas from Cyberpunk 2077, we knew that they needed some sort of a stand or a holder, because until now they have been laying on a shelf, and we decided to make a wall-mounted holder from this piece. After making all cuts with the circular saw, the next step was to prepare it for the CNC. I made a prototype of the logo text from plywood to help with the visualization and proper spacing between the two wooden parts. Both of these pieces had a lot of cracks and insect holes. There were two pretty big splinters, and I was afraid that the CNC might cause a big tear out, so I decided to remove it manually. While I was at it, I decided to clean and sand the whole edge. I started the process with a Dremel tool, which wasn't very fruitful even with an aggressive bit. Then tried using a power drill with nylon wire wheel, which didn't do much either. Hand sanding also wasn't very effective, so as a last resort I had to use the scariest option, the angle grinder. But with Arbortech turboplane disc, it worked wonderfully. I only recently started learning power carving, so that is why we have this equipment. And I learned that the angle grinder is incredibly versatile and useful, but also potentially extremely dangerous. After cleaning up the edges, I firmly stuck both wooden parts to the spoil board using various methods and moved on to surfacing. These parts weren't actually that warped, pretty much only this edge was higher. Since the area was so large, it took 1 or 2 hours to surface both sides. Pretty long time, but I like to take shallower passes to make sure it cuts smoothly and not stressing the machine too much. Here we can see both sides after surfacing. The back side has some dark spots, but since this side will be facing the wall, it wasn't necessary to surface it perfectly, and it will later be sanded with an orbital sander anyway. The next step was to temporarily fix these two parts together with exactly measured out spacing, but I realized that I wouldn't be properly able to sand these inner edges after gluing, so I quickly sanded them. I used some thin wooden offcuts as a short-term fixture solution, because once I inlay in the Cyberpunk text and other details, these two offcuts will be cut off. While that was in clamps curing, I moved on to the Cyberpunk logo text. Since the logo is yellow, the closest colored wood that we had was black locust. The wood was heavily warped on one side, so I surfaced only the high spots and saw that it had a color separation, so I had to measure out exactly where it will be cut out. This is called chatter, caused by vibrating bit, and it is the reason why I had to change my plan, because V-shaped inlay wasn't an option now. But luckily it only got at half depth of 18 out of 36 mm. I had the profiles all cut out, so all I had to do now was to clean up certain parts, and after that I could move on to making pockets for the inlay. There was some unevenness on the oak board, which was quickly surfaced. Then I marked my 0 point and started creating pockets with 8mm and mil bit. Some radiuses were too large, so I switched to 6mm bit, which finally allowed it to fit into the pocket. I then started milling the rest of the pockets. Since I originally planned for the inlay to be V-shaped, like I said earlier, which would allow for sharper edges, I now had a bit of a problem, because I already had the letters fully cut out, and their edge radius was pretty small, meaning they had sharp corners, so I knew that there would be gaps. In order to have sharper corners on the pockets, I would have to use a thinner bit, like 4 or 3mm wide, but these bits are unfortunately not long enough to safely mill to the full depth of the pocket. So instead I had to manually sand the edges of the letters using various tools. This took a pretty long time, about 4 hours of making small adjustments for the pocket milling and sanding letters, because there were constantly some parts where it just didn't fit. After that, I started with the 2077 pockets, with a 3mm end mill and tapered carving bit, and the pockets were unfortunately way too large, or rather the numbers were way too small, which I most likely messed up in the toolpath programming phase, because I remember being confused about setting up allowance offset. Well, at least now I know what not to do. I don't have much experience with making inlays other than 2 small cutting boards, so making this giant inlay was indeed a challenge. Gluing the letters in place was without issues, except for putting glue where it wasn't supposed to be, but it was finally starting to look like something. There was no way to clamp it like this. There probably was a need to, but I used our weight plate to weigh it down. I then surfaced the letters, somehow making it almost perfectly level, modified the pockets for numbers and moved on to the corporations. Cyberpunk and Night City wouldn't be what we know it as without its corporations and companies. At first, I didn't plan on adding them, because I thought that the katanas would cover most of the space and the corporation logos wouldn't be visible, and it would look like a billboard or those sports suits covered with sponsor logos. But when I was designing this, I just couldn't stop thinking about how it would look with them. So I tried putting them on and off, and at first I wasn't really for it, but then, after returning to it for the 4th time, I managed to get the spacing right so that they would be visible, and I was really happy with how it would look, so I decided to add them in. but it was a real dilemma at that time. Most woodworkers probably wouldn't want this wood, just because how damaged it was, or maybe cut it into clean usable planks, or maybe they would take it as it is, and make something like a countertop, desk, or epoxy river table. And we were thinking about all of these options, but I personally really like this use, because Cyberpunk is futuristic, which means nice, perfect straight shapes, which also goes for katanas. And this wood is natural with organic shapes, so I think this creates a pretty interesting contrast of hard surface technology and the natural shaped life edge. After dividing the resin into separate cups, I added necessary colors. I decided on having 5 colors for all logos, not too many or too little, just to keep it manageable. When deciding which logos to include, I chose them based on size so that it fits into the limited space, but mainly which logos I knew and liked the look of. Since I was working with limited space, I couldn't add more, and I was at first deciding if I should choose corporations or gangs, since the NC gangs have also really nice logos, but maybe in the future there will be another project where they can be incorporated. When deciding the placement of each logo, it was mostly based on where it can fit, but I wanted to put Arasaka and Militech opposite to each other, since they are huge rivals in the story, and I also put Samurai on the side of Militech, opposite to Arasaka, because Johnny Silverhand once cooperated with them against Arasaka in the year 2023. I also have the Cyberpunk 2077 art book that I bought shortly after playing, and there is so much cool art. And the story of the corporations and the world of Cyberpunk is, in my opinion, so immersive. The description of corporations is written in such a way that to me it feels like they actually exist. I am aware that the original Samurai logo is white, but I wanted to make it red, because the Oni mask in this logo is mostly red, and I didn't want to saturate it with too many white logos, because there are already 5 of them. Last epoxy related task was to fill the main crack and other tiny ones with mahogany and black pigment, and also to add clear resin to the Biotechnica logo, because I didn't want the colors to accidentally mix or spill over. After letting it cure, I filled the gaps in the letter pockets with black wood filler. And why would I add dark color filler if the wood is light colored? Well, because after everything is sanded, I want to paint the oak wood with our vinegar and steel wool mixture, to make it dark and create color contrast between the yellow cyberpunk text, dark oak surface and colorful logos. And I made new number inlays that this time actually fit. I was deciding whether or not to use the CNC to surface everything, which would take like 30 minutes instead of 2 hours that I spent on just rough sanding, but from my limited experience with surfacing epoxy, it sometimes happened that on the outside of the cut it just chipped off the epoxy, and I didn't want to risk it, because if that happened it would take even more time repairing the epoxy, and since this project already took long enough, I decided to play it safe and just sand it. As I stated a short while ago, that this project already took long enough. At the end of this clip, all of a sudden our camera stopped working. Or rather, the lens started malfunctioning. And since we don't have backup camera, we had to wait until it returned from Portugal. Now I could finally start applying finish. You can see how the colors go from muted to vibrant thanks to the hard wax oil. Although at first I wasn't sure if the resin parts will be visible enough, mainly the red ones, but in the end everything looked really nice. After letting it dry for 2 days, I used Scotch-Brite pad to remove a little bit from the top and applied second lighter coat to create shiny surface. The last step was to make the hanging mechanism for the katanas, and it is just a long wooden stick that is used in baking to test if the pastry is finished. I wanted something that wouldn't stand out, and these thin picks are perfect. Just had to find the right length and paint them with dark stain. This project was another great learning experience, specifically inlaying and making something this large and complex. There were some challenges, like with every other project, but in the end I am very pleased with how it turned out. And now, after more than 2 months of work, it is finally completed.
Good morning, Night City! Yesterday's body count lottery rounded out to a solid and sturdy 30. 10 out of Haywood, thanks to unabated gang wars. 1 officer down, so I guess you're all screwed, cause the NCPD will not let that go. Got another blackout in Santo Domingo. Net runners are at it again, poking holes in the power grid. While over in Westbrook, trauma teams scraping cyber psycho victims off the pavement. And in Pacifica, well, Pacifica is still Pacifica. This has been your man, Stan. Join me for another day in our city of